The reason I kept the diff centre a Nissan is because I've never actually broken a Nissan centre.
It's a good reason.
These days, like, there's a lot of younger guys coming through, which is really good to see. And I think that's what the sport needs. Like, just, I think more, maybe more exposure, and yeah, just more young guys getting out there and getting into it. You know, if you've got a high mount winch off marketplace or you had one, you just bolt it in, the winch wiring's already there.
The Outer Side is proudly supported by Tie Gear. Head to www.tiegear.com to explore the wide range of high-quality camping essentials, including guy ropes, screw-in tent pegs, tie-downs, and heaps more. Tie Gear. Adventure secured. Dog and Gun Coffee. Check out www.dogandguncoffee.com to grab yourself some bloody good coffee ready for adventure.
G'day and welcome to The Outer Side. I'm Tony, and in this episode, I'm joined by Daniel Kistler. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, yeah, I should say thanks for coming down.
Yeah, well, you know, I was going to say we're having each other, but that sounds weird. All right, we're going to start with a fast five. Right. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Just answer with whatever comes to mind. With an unlimited budget, what's your ultimate vehicle build?
It's probably in the background here, I think.
Yep.
GQ. I think if I was a street car, 33 GTR.
Hell yeah.
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 Which is like, I got the poor man's version on the other side.
What, GTS2?
Yeah, no, not GTS.
Yeah, good.
Proper poor man's version.
Nah, man, I've got a soft spot for R33, so good answer.
Yeah, me too.
Unfortunately, the GTRs are entirely unaffordable.
Oh, yeah, well and truly out of reach.
Yeah. Favourite band or music artist?
Currently, like, I'm into Aussie metalcore, so like Polaris or something.
Yes.
Parkway Drive's good.
Yep.
Slipknot.
Beautiful.
Spirit Box, they're sort of all what I listen to, but I'd say Polaris at the moment, they're good.
Spirit Box is an interesting one. I never really knew about them, but Spotify with its weird thing how it just serves up whatever. I've listened to a bit of it. It's pretty good, eh?
Spirit Box is good. We went to Knotfest in 23 and they had Spirit Box there. Yeah. That's when I seen them, and yeah, they're good.
Yeah, sick.
Big fan.
Best wheeling location in Australia?
Vic High Country. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Has a good mix. I think with like winter, rain, good camping, like I think you can't really beat that. But I'm pretty biased because I haven't gone too far north yet, like Simpson Desert as far as I've gone. So I do want to come up the east coast up towards your way.
Yeah. And
then Cape York's on the list at some stage. I think it's on everyone's list.
100%.
Yeah.
I'll
try to get there one day.
I'll give you a hot tip. You need to get to Coffs Harbour sooner rather than later because that's all about to get locked up to protect alleged koalas.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that. Yeah. And I am scared that I'm not going to get there. That's what that car's supposed to be for. So.
100%. It'll love it up there. But I was looking at the map the other day and it's like all the prime wheeling up there is all under threat. Yeah, so don't take too long building the car.
Yeah, well, I'm trying not to. It was supposed to be done nearly 12 months ago, but I'm not even halfway through yet.
So life happens, eh?
It does.
What is the first mod you would do to a stock four-wheel drive?
Like any specific four-wheel drive? Any four-wheel
Call
drive?
it a GQ because you've got a few of them.
Yeah, I would. It's sort of a tough one because they're pretty good out the box. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe
you say that as you've completely replaced everything on the vehicle.
Like, what would I do first? I don't know. I reckon probably like good suspension because the high country you do a lot of driving. Yeah. So that's probably the main thing. Tyres is probably next. Like tyres or suspension.
But you meant when you say a lot of driving, like a lot of transport stages.
Yeah. Like you do I don't know a few hundred k's in a day.
Yeah. Right.
So it's and a lot of it's like washouts and just rough driving. Like it's not hard, it's just rough. So if you got bad suspension or bad tyres for that matter, it's like punishment.
Just uncomfortable, especially in a GQ. They're not the most comfortable car.
I'm biased. They're comfortable.
Last one. What would you eat for your last meal?
I'd probably have the missus cook me up a tomahawk, I reckon.
Beautiful.
Yeah, tomahawk. With probably chips, veg,
Nice. Yeah. And a good diplomatic answer too.
Yeah, we're good.
Very good. Well, mate, I don't know where to start with you, but obviously you're a four-wheel drive fanatic. You've got
enough of
verging
them.
on an unhealthy obsession with GQ patrols, which I fully endorse.
Yeah.
But where did it all start for you? Where'd your love for the off-road stuff happen?
Well, like growing up, we done a lot of traveling. Oh, not a lot. We did do a lot of traveling actually with the old man. Me and my brother. He's like 18 months older than me, so you know we had a 60 series, which my brother's actually still got, and my old man bought it brand new in '84, I reckon.
Sick.
And so yeah, we did like a lot of camping. We did like a fair bit of hunting, like you know, stalking for deer and you know duck shooting, that sort of thing. So camping, and then yeah, we spent a lot of time in the high country and that. So I suppose it all started there, and then we have done a few bigger trips, like the Simpson Desert twice, and yeah, it all just stemmed from there. As I got older, funny enough, before I turned 18, I actually wanted a Commodore, and I'm so glad I didn't go down that path. But the thing that turned me was my mate around the corner had a GQ wagon, and I wasn't 18 yet, but he was, and you know, just being 18-year-olds, so I was like, I'll jump in, we'll go for a spin, and like, we'll go on for 2 hours, we're just playing around in the bush. And I come back and I was like, I've got to have one.
Yeah.
I've got to have one of these. And like, my old man and my brother and that, they're Land Cruiser fanatics, and my mate had a GQ, and I was like, I want a GQ. There's got to be a GQ. So I'm like the opposing side.
That's funny, It's like the black sheep.
Yeah. So I'm like the outsider. Like, but yeah, it all sort of just stemmed from there. And since I was 18, then obviously you meet people.
Yeah.
Like got involved in the Winch Challenge scene because that was pretty local to here actually. Like the two of the biggest events are only like within an hour from here.
Yeah, right.
So once we got involved in that, you know, it all just exploded from there. So yeah, it's been an unhealthy obsession.
Do you know what though? It might be cheaper than street cars. Might be. I don't know.
Yeah, depends how far you go, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like obviously there's big dollars in like a nice street car.
Yeah.
But like a full drive, especially these days, if you're saying like this day and age now, you buy like a proper winch, lockers, a set of tyres, and like yeah, a bit of suspension, like 20 grand's gone, and you haven't even like bought a car yet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you buy a car and then do the rest of it. So like it's not abnormal to like spend 100 grand on a full drive these days.
Absolutely not.
And I think like what would probably bump the street car up is the paint work. Like a nice paint job is obviously a lot of money.
Yeah, it is
which
now.
obviously chews into like that. If you're going up $100,000, would chew into that 100 grand like a
Yeah, you
lot.
can do half of it in paint and panel.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, it's borderline probably an addiction.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I think, why do I do it? Because it's like punishment sometimes. But
Yeah.
on the flip side, it gets you motivated to go to work and earn the money.
Yeah.
To then blow it all.
Yeah, but when it's good and when your car's working, like it's pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
When it's punishing, like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Like my race car sat around for a while, and I thought, like, I won't fix it. Like, why do I even bother? And then you do one drive in it, and it's like, oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's good fun.
So you obviously you were involved in the outdoors and hunting and stuff as a kid, so that sets you on the path anyway. But what was your sort of pathway like? Was it social wheeling and then you sort of got a sniff for the racing stuff, or how did that sort of transpire?
Yeah, like pretty much. Yeah, we're just playing around as 18-year-olds really. You know, being in the high countries an hour that way, if that. You know, always just day drives and whatever. Then there was like the racing scene was quite big in the area. So then you meet people who were in that scene, and then you do a bit more harder driving, and then it just snowballs from there. And all of a sudden you're in the racing scene. Like, yeah, I always wanted to build a race car, so I'm glad that I got to tick that off the list.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, I'd like to build another one, but we'll see how that pans out, I think. But
So for anyone not familiar with it, what is Winch Challenge or Winch truck racing? How would you describe it?
pouring copious amounts of money into something and then like lighting it on fire. Like
Perfect description.
yeah, like you may as well just like open your wallet going down the highway.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much sums it up.
Except for when you have a killer drive and you get that sense of satisfaction,
Yeah.
right?
Well, pretty much it's like short course is what locally is what it's known as. So short course Winch Challenge is like, you know, you're on a property, they're not that big, like a few hundred acres, and then it's like a set amount of stages. There might be 20 or sometimes 30 in a weekend. depending on the event. And then it's more or less a start box and a finish box. Sometimes they're the same box. And you just follow like a bunted course, and it's pretty much whoever's the fastest per stage. So, you know, every stage is graded on a point system out of 100. So 100 points, obviously first place on the stage, and any penalties in that. So like if you step over a live rope, or, you know, you hit a peg or something, like 10 points or 5 points, that obviously gets deducted off your points. But then at the end of the weekend, it's just whoever's got the most points is the winner. So yeah, like Wild Dog is, or at Bindaree, like that's only half an hour from here, and that's regarded as probably like Winch Challenge in Victoria. That's their Bathurst, I suppose. Like that's the big one. So being so close is like awesome. The property's really good. Like we spent a lot of time out there in the early days. There was a period there where they didn't run race. It was like from 2009 to 2016, I think it come back. There was, I don't know the full story, so it's something to do with permits or whatever. So in 2016, we actually went out there and we helped open like all the old tracks again, which was like awesome. So like there's a big crew of us, and spent like heaps of time out there. So we're pretty familiar with the property. And then obviously I raced it a couple of times as well. So
that's cool.
It's awesome property.
So is that the person that owns that, are they a frother? Like, are they into it?
So Al Max, the guy that owns, or his family owns it, and he's a race car guy. So I think he's out of it now. Like he's just sort of kicking back these days. But yeah, he's a legend, like absolute legend of the sport. And he's a Jeep guy, and he had like some pretty awesome cars, and he drove with, like he just drove hard. It was always good watching him.
Spectacular.
And he just sort of, you know, in a couple of the old DVDs, you know, he rolls it over backwards, and they're all sort of like, oh, you know, smashed your car. He's like, yeah, he'll be right. Like, don't worry about it. Like,
attitude.
He's as chill as like, So it's good because obviously he likes the sport, so it makes it easier for them to run the sport on his property. He's really good. So, but there's like, I think this year they're actually running 6 rounds. In Victoria. So one's like in 2 weeks from now, but they sort of vary. You know, the furthest one away is probably 4 hours from here.
So still pretty achievable.
Yeah, definitely achievable. So the last season I raced, we had 3 events for the year, which was good. And then this year they've bumped it up to 6 events. So,
but I suppose, you know, as you said, the money involved to race 6 rounds with all your breakages, the time off work, prep, all that, it'd be a pretty big undertaking to compete in that, right?
Like huge. Like even when I raced 3, I was struggling to like keep the car going. No, and I was just lucky I didn't really do much damage, in a sense where, you know, nothing, like 2 weekends and I was on top of it again, sort of. But like, if you have any major, like you've done a motor or something major, and then you got to fund it to replace it, it's like, to do that in between 6 rounds is a pretty big ask. So you've got to be quite dedicated.
You got to really love it, eh?
Yeah, like you got to really have a passion for it. It's good these days. Like there's a lot of younger guys coming through, which is really good to see, and I think that's what the sport needs. Like just, I think more, maybe more exposure, and just more young guys getting out there and getting into it. Because they did actually open a class. They call it the Weekend Warrior class, and I think you only need like a 4-point cage for that, so a half cage. And it's based on like someone going to buy like a GQ wagon, put a bolt in 4-point cage, and pretty simple. Like you do it pretty cheap, and just go and like eat your heart out.
Have
like,
a crack,
So they do have like, you're not allowed to race the same stages as like the challenge class or the big guys. So they have like parts where there's mandatory winching, or if there's any fast driving, like they cut that out usually. Because they're only got a half cage.
Just to keep everyone safe.
But at least it gives people a taste for it. And then the idea is like you get a taste for it, and then all of a sudden you can go, all right, I'm going to put a full cage in this and step up to the big class and race with the big dogs. So it's good to see like there is, you know, new people coming into the sport. Like, you know, I've been in there like over 10 years. I've been in the sport, like competing. Like I was a Navvy back in 2015, but I've sort of been knowledgeable about the sport since 2010. And you know, at a short course event, there's not many people, like it's sort of done a cycle of like the older guys are sort of out of it, but there's a whole new wave of new guys that probably weren't around 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah, that's cool.
so it's pretty cool to see.
So now you're one of the old guys.
I am. I'm like the washed up, like.
Sound like Gleason.
Yeah.
Ah, dear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had a conversation recently with Benji from Ramp Customs about rock crawling, and it's the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wants the sport to grow, but it's like struggling for exposure, struggling for sponsorship.
Yeah.
Corporate sponsorship's hard to come by. I imagine the same challenges for winch trucking, right?
And like, I was actually lucky enough in May this year. The Ultimate Rock Crawling guys in New South Wales, they actually invited me up there and gave me a car for the weekend to compete. So me and Matt Kinsella actually raced Chris's car from Bright Spark Motorsports, and it's a proper car, like a full. Like, the only thing is missing is portals, but it's like a proper spec car.
Yeah.
And pretty much he threw us the keys and let us go nuts for the weekend. So that was sort of like to try and get people there to, for a bit more exposure, like a few more media guys, which was cool. They had like the news there and everything, which was awesome. And from what I heard them saying, they had like a lot more spectators there than any other year, which is good to see. And they're sort of. I actually got a text message today. They want me to sort of go up there next year, maybe. So I'll try and book that in, which is May next year.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. That'll be cool.
I
I've
think
been
it's
talking to those guys. They're really trying to push that sport.
Yeah,
and I think it's a great thing.
For sure. Yeah, like, they're a good, like, awesome bunch of people.
Yeah,
and they all have their roles and they all know what they're doing, and it's just like nearly like a well-oiled machine. It just needs the exposure, and I think it'd sort of take off. So I think with that event as well, like, a lot of our events down here don't allow like spectator camping or anything.
Yeah.
Probably maybe the properties aren't big enough, or I don't know the reason, but up there they had spectator camping.
Yeah.
So people like caravans with the family, like fires going. You could watch the night stages and that.
Oh, bro,
like, it was awesome.
Like Tough Truck when everyone's camped in the valley and there's just crawlers everywhere. Like, it's such a good experience for everyone to be there for the whole weekend.
And like, not that I've never been interested in it, but because rock crawling's not a thing down here, I've never followed it.
Yeah.
I obviously knew a Tough Truck, and there was a local guy actually that won Tough Truck 3s in a row, Pip, and I sort of just didn't really pay much attention. So like, when I went up there and seen it all in person, it was like pretty eye-opening, and I was just like well and truly out of my depth. Like, like they had us competing in like the top class against all the top guys on the hardest tracks, and I was like, you're looking at the stages like, I'm well and truly beyond my capabilities here. Like, and even like Matt Kinsella, like, we swapped each stage. So one stage I'd drive, one stage I'd navy, and like the first stage I drove, and we done actually pretty well. And then the second stage he drove, and it was a proper like tricky stage, and he ended up rolling the buggy. And I was like, it was sort of mostly my fault. And I said to him, I'm a way better driver. I'm like, this navy stuff in these rocks, I'm like, I'm just beyond like.
Well, it is a proper team sport. Like, the navy's so important.
Very
in that
important.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to ask that, how you went going from like winch trucking, which is fast-ish, compared to ultra slow, super technical.
Yeah. And like, in that sport, like, a couple inches is the difference maker of like the car falling offline or getting wedged in the rocks or something. So that was just the hardest bit, like trying to work out the capabilities of the car, because obviously they're super capable. Yeah. And you look at stuff going like, the car's not going to go up that, but it does.
Yeah.
So to get your head around the capabilities of the car and then trying to relay that to the driver, and I don't know, you introduce rear steer and like front and rear suck down winches and all that. Like, there's just so much going on. It was beyond like, I picked up the rear steer good because I've driven, like, there's a Ragged Edge is in Geelong, and you can go on like pay to drive his buggy. So I've been there twice now. So I already had a little bit of rear steer experience and like that sort of experience. So I picked up the rear steer like okay, but the rest of it was like, just spun me head sometimes, especially when you're trying to navy. You're trying to tell, front wheels right, the back wheels left, front locker in, rear locker out, suck the, like, it's just...
there's a lot of information.
And you only got 10 minutes per stage, so it's like, you can't really fluff around. And it was just, a couple of times you just get so far. Like, I'm just confused, I need to take 10 seconds.
Have
a need to regroup and then start again.
Mate, even just looking in some of those buggies, and there's just, there's levers and switches and stuff everywhere, and I look in there and just go, that's too much to deal with. But I've never really thought about it from the Navy's perspective. You got to try and
I've got to
You're
portray
trying
that.
to direct
Yeah,
whilst not knowing the car.
for sure. And in Chris's buggy, because he obviously knows what all the switches do, but none of them are labelled.
Oh, good.
So I think he actually labelled some of them, like maybe the front and rear lockers are labelled, but like the winches and the bit of other stuff wasn't labelled.
Yeah,
So you're like, you know, and it had front and rear disconnects as well. So there are more switches in there. So there's like just this big switch panel. They're all the same switches.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
good.
Half of them aren't labelled.
Perfect.
So it's like disconnect the rear, you flick it. No, wrong switch. You flick the other one. Like, that's it. No, that was a winch. Like, you flick.
Oh no, that was the fire suppression system. Oh shit.
Yeah.
So is winch truck racing? I mean, Victoria, I would say, is the heartland of it. But is that
Yeah.
series a Victorian-based series that you race in?
Yeah.
So there's nothing in other states.
So there is
similar?
like Queensland have their own. I'm not really up to speed
Mm.
with Queensland, but they have a few different series in Queensland. It's actually like I'd like to build a car and take it up there. That's probably one of the goals. So yeah, Queensland has like short course as well, and I think they actually combine like long course is navigation as well.
Yeah.
And I think in Queensland, even some of their short course events, they incorporate like some navigation
So you got
stuff.
GPS marks and stuff. Yeah. Right.
I'm pretty sure that's what they do. But New South Wales has like 2 long course events, which one of them's like Ultimate 4x4 Challenge, which was the old Outback Challenge, and then Cliffhanger, which was 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
They're the 2 like long course events in Outback New South Wales. So as far as I know, they actually, I'm pretty sure that our series in Victoria, I'm pretty sure they're going to put around in New South Wales actually.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's maybe on the cards. So yeah, that'd be one round sort of up there.
So what's the difference in terms of like car setup from short course to long course? Like, is there much difference in the vehicles?
Like, you'd probably spend a lot more money on like suspension for a long course event. Like having, like I was just a navvy up there, and you know, after then racing the whole event, it's like you'd probably put a lot of money into the suspension. Where short course, it's probably not as important to have like huge suspension under it. Like you can get away with pretty basic suspension.
Yeah.
And let you, like your driving can sort of pick up the rest. But the long course stuff, when you're doing like hours and hours of like just punishing terrain, like you want good suspension and probably a bit of horsepower to, at least make that a bit more comfortable.
Be able to walk after a stage.
Yeah, that's right. So that's probably like the main thing. And then obviously long course, you have your GPS stuff in there as well. That's not needed down in our short course events. And then, like probably, I don't know, mostly like there's a lot of cars that race both. So it's not like one's distinct to the other or different.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of things that are the same, but the suspension is probably the main thing. And power, like our short course events here, there's not, some are high speed, but there's a lot of like just tight technical driving where you can probably get away with like pretty basic horsepower. Like you don't need heaps. Like a standard LS one's probably enough. You know, they don't make good power by any means, but they make enough to be a competitive car in short course for sure. Where long course, there's a lot of like sandy creek beds where you just want to like, you need to get up on the plane. They need enough power to come out of the corner and then get up on the plane.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just punishing in the sand like.
Yeah.
But other than that, mostly the same.
And I suppose there's different classes as well. Like there's like Ultra 4 cars and stuff racing out there.
There is, and like Cliffhanger's run under a different governing body as well. Like they're AASA, which is what Queensland's run under, and in Victoria we're CCDA. It's basically the same thing, but slightly different rules and slightly different way of running things.
Yeah.
But so their classes are different names essentially, but
so they're just like the sanctioning bodies that sanction.
they'll offer like like that's where the insurance is through, and like they do all that sort of thing. You sort of can't run without it. Like they need someone to offer all that sort of stuff behind the scenes.
And do all the, I suppose, scrutineering and set the
well,
standards.
that's exactly right. And I'm pretty
right.
sure they have like the cones and pegs and bunting and all that sort of things. Like down here we get breathoed every day, like every morning. So they have the breatho, like it's part of the CCDA thing. So the AASA is basically the same thing. It's just slightly different rules, which are basically the same anyway.
So have you done Cliffy before, or was this the first time?
That was the first time. I went to Ultimate in like 2022, me and Sherry, who I raced with at Cliffy. We went, Ultimate 2022 was the first Ultimate where it had changed from Outback Challenge to Ultimate Challenge. Yeah. So we went up as like media, And that was like my first taste of a long course event. And Ultimate's slightly different, where you got to live out of your car.
Yeah, right.
So like Ultimate is like another level on top, because Cliffy, although they're huge days, you get to go back to the pits.
Yeah.
So people like got semi-trucks with containers, like workshops in containers,
Yeah, true.
like full welders and, you know, all sorts of stuff, which we had to borrow a few this year. But Ultimate, if you go back to the pits, you get penalised.
Yeah, right.
Or if you get outside help, you get penalised. So if your picker has to bring you apart, you get penalised.
Yeah,
And it's just more or less adds a whole nother layer of complexity to the event, because you have to make the car survive. Like you can't drive like at 100%.
On the edge, yeah.
You really got to conserve the car, make it last a week. Like you're allowed, you know, they have fuel drops and that sort of thing where you obviously can fuel up. But yeah, as far as parts go, like no.
And so what you're carrying, I imagine quite basic camping gear, but
Yeah.
like your food and water and
Yeah.
all that's in the car as well?
Yep.
Far out.
So a lot of their cars end up quite heavy. And there is a couple guys that take it like pretty serious, and it's good to see. Like, but some people will weigh the swags, they'll weigh the food, they'll weigh the water, and like make
like
sure the car,
hikers.
like as light as possible. Because obviously the heavier it is, the more chance you got breaking something. So yeah, there's all different ideas out there. But Ultimates, yeah, that's like similar area as well.
Yep.
So similar terrain, like they're only 2 hours apart.
Yeah, just far western New South Wales, yeah?
Yeah, well, it's only like Cliffhanger's 50 k's or 100 k's west of Cobar, and then Ultimate's like west of Wilcannia, which is only just further down. So yeah, not that far apart. So very similar terrain, and it is punishing terrain. So
Big rocks.
oh yeah, big rocks, and just like the relentless terrain of, you know, you got to drive from A to B, and it's like the terrain, it's like soccer balls half buried, but they're rocks, and just like endless, like as far as you can see.
And trying to drive as fast as you can.
Yeah, and you got to go like fast over it. So it's just like punishing to everything. So it was good. It was a good experience. Like we didn't have the best run. We had a few dramas. We nearly had to camp out one night. The wheel come off. Or like when I say wheel, it broke. It's got 80 series. It's got like a hybrid housing, so it's got 80 series knuckles with a GU front center, and it broke the whole casting around the bottom Ackerman arm, and like so it broke the whole swivel housing casting, and then, you know, all of a sudden he lost steering, and I jumped out and the wheel's sort of hanging off, and it's like, oh, we're not going anywhere.
That was at Cliffhanger, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
So
I saw a couple of pictures from that. It looked interesting.
yeah, and it was good. Like it was actually quite enjoyable, because when else would you go? Like we were a fair way from camp. Like we were over an hour from camp. Like no phone reception. We're sort of down low, like no UHF reception. And it's like, when else would you be this unprepared to potentially stay overnight? Because it happened at like 5:30 in the Arvo.
Yeah, good.
And it's like, by the time someone gets here, then goes to the pits, informs our pit crew, gets parts, comes all the way back out. Like there's potential we'll be in here till the morning, maybe. And it's like, when else would you do that on purpose? Like, you wouldn't just go, like we had a couple of muesli bars left and a couple of water bottles. And it was like, you know, just get them out. It's like, right, this is what we've got. Just make sure we preserve that a little bit. And it's like, when else would you just be silly enough to go and break your car in the middle of nowhere and happily just like kick back? So it was funny. I said, oh, we'll get a fire going or something. It's getting dark. We'll just get a bit of a fire going. And he's like, oh, I got no matches. So I was looking around, and I had there was a scrunched up water bottle under my seat. So I opened it back up, and he had brake clean in his space case. So I got brake clean in the water bottle. I got a bit of grass, put it in there. And then he had a bit of dunny paper, and I rolled it up, put it in like a wick, and put a brake clean on it. And he had one bit of like Sherry's like an old school guy, so there's no wires anywhere. And he had this one bit of scrap wire, and so he earthed it out off the 24 volt onto his bull bar, and we sparked up the water, the bottle. We just sparked it up, and we had a little bit of a fire going, like shoved it under there, and then we got a fire going. And then it was just like, oh, kick back till someone comes save us. So
that's the best, man.
It was actually really good.
They're the sorts of things, like, you'll remember that forever.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But like, we were out there till, like, we got back to camp at like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. So we were out there for a few hours with just no one to talk to. Like, it was just me and him. We were just kicking back with the fire going.
Yeah, just enjoying the serenity.
Oh, it was really
So what's
good.
the go to someone? Do they just get to a certain point where you haven't come back and then they go looking for you?
Well, you all got like, it's called a rally safe unit.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, that's not specific to Winch Challenge. Every car's got the dogs roam.
Hey, pup.
Every car's got a rally safe in it, and that reports back to like race control. Back at pits.
So they can see you haven't moved.
They
for
can
a
see
while.
everything. Like,
right.
they can see like how fast you're going, whether you've stopped or how long you've been stopped for. They can send you little messages on the rally safe. So we sort of like broke the car, and it's like, oh well, like hit the SOS button, and then it comes up like they send you a message, are you okay? Like, yep. And then they sort of, they come back, recovery on the way, and it's like, yep. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
just keep back now.
Just sit back and wait.
Just wait, yeah.
Because that's a proper deal breaker, right? Like that's back to the pits.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Like
you do
nothing, we couldn't bush fix that.
Yeah.
Like other than, jamming a log under there and using it as a skid. But we're in like this rocky creek bed.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't have happened. So
Wouldn't have worked and have ruined the car.
Yeah. And so we just hung the car off a tree. And it happened like in the perfect spot. We literally just had to turn the car 90 degrees, and there was a perfect tree. I stood on the bonnet, just wrapped the winch rope, I wrapped the strap around it with the winch rope on it. We just lifted the car up, pulled the wheel off, pulled everything out, and it's like, oh, it's as much as we can do. Like we had a swivel housing back at camp.
Yeah.
We just had to the recovery come and seen us, and we just told them to go back to camp, tell the pit crew what we need, take a photo.
Yeah, how did that?
Yeah, and then pit crew come back out and saved us. So
was
awesome.
that like, did you hit something or was that just fatigue?
Funny enough, it was like, we think it was probably already pre-damage maybe, because the day before or 2 days before we already changed that swivel housing, because on the 80s it's sort of a problem where the studs come loose on the bottom of the Ackerman arm. Mm-hmm. So that happened to us, and then it pulled one of the studs out. So then we put the spare on, and the spare was the one that broke, but we hadn't hit like anything notable.
Yeah, right.
Like I've crashed into a lot of stuff, and I only broke one knuckle in my whole life.
Yeah.
And there was nothing that we hit that was like,
Hard
that
enough,
would have broken something. And at the time, we were honestly in first kilo range in this creek, just sort of like, and then he's like, got no steering.
It's probably lucky that you were in first gear low range and you weren't up.
Yeah, well, for sure. Like, if it was already pre-broken, probably we could have been doing 80k an hour and it maybe broke or something potentially.
Throw a wheel off, it's not real good at 80k.
Well, that would have done like a lot of damage.
Yeah.
This just like, we just replaced the swivel hub and we're back in action. But we had to put the old swivel hub back on with the 3 studs in it. So like, we were proper babying it back. But we only had 1 day left at that stage, so we just ran 3 studs for the final day. Like every stage run there, tighten them up, and they were really like on edge.
That is a real problem with Toyotas, isn't it? There was we were just on Fraser about a month ago, and a dude in a 79 just like did a U-turn on the beach, and the front wheel just came off the car. Yeah, and he was like under there scratching his head, going, "Can I fix this?" And we're like, "Not really. You've got no studs. They're all gone."
It's a major problem.
Yeah, it is a major problem.
And what made that worse? Like the whole situation. What made it worse was on this particular stage, it was the Cliffhanger Rampage stage. So it's on the day, there's 2 loops, like 12-hour DNF to get both done. So it's like a big day in the car. And one of the loops had no winching, and the other loop had one like specific winch where like a couple cars drove it, but it was a winch. And we'd done the first loop, we'd done pretty good time, and there was a mandatory half-an-hour stop between the second stage. So we did the half-an-hour stop, pit crew was there, they'd done a bolt check, cooked up some sausages, jumped back in the car, and we made it to this winch, and we were actually doing pretty good. We climbed out all the way to the rock face, and then he sort of just tried to nose up the rock face, and then it sheared the tail shaft, like broke the slip joint.
Yeah, right.
And it's a custom tail shaft because it's an 80 chassis, and it's got like a 12H in it, so it's like custom tail shaft. And we'd already lunged the tail shaft like 2 days before on the rocks. So the spare was on the car and we broke it. And it's like, oh, now what? Like we've got no spare tail shaft and it's custom. So what we ended up doing was he pulled it off, and then I like threw it over my shoulder. I walked all the way back out and got a lift back to the pits. And we actually spoke to Matt was racing there, and he brought some media guys over, off-road addiction from New Zealand. And he was on this winch wall, and I was sort of talking to him, and we just needed a slip joint. And he's like, oh, Matt's got a slip joint back at camp. He launched a tail shaft, and somebody used the dinted tail shaft tube as a muffler replacement. So the slip joint was sitting there, and I said, oh, look, do you think you wouldn't mind just grabbing it? He goes, no, you're right, just grab it. So I was like, all right. So I got a lift back, found their pits, found the slip joint, went back to our pits, and we pitted right next to Jesse Gleason. And so I cut the old slip joint out, and then Jesse's old man Pedro, when he hears a grinder, he's just like,
He's onto
he's
it.
keen.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden he's just like, out of the way. So then we cut the other slip joint, we married these two, like married the good slip joint with the good tail shaft, welded it back together, got a lift back out, and then I walked all the way back in, like fitted the tail shaft. So like all this, and then like 2 kilometers later, we'd done like the wheel come off.
Oh.
So it's like
After all that.
spewing like all these hours like walking and just like borrowing parts and that, just for 2 Ks later the wheel to come off. We're stuck out there anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
But I don't know, I haven't been to one of those events, but I imagine it's quite similar to, you know, like the rock crawling events and tough truck and that sort of stuff, where whenever someone has an issue, like everyone helps
Yeah,
out, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, I've got this part, or I've got a welder, or, you know, like,
Yeah.
I think that community is really cool.
well, we like a couple of days earlier, we were racing. Like it was funny. They had a stage, and you started in this creek bed. Hey, zip it. You started in this creek bed, and you done a loop, and it was 3 laps, and they lined you up against someone else. And it was funny. There was another 60 series there, and yeah,
Hop.
and we sort of like we were talking in the car. Like, oh, we should go race that other 60. And then we found him, and he was coming over to us, and he was like trying to find
wanted to do
us
the
to
same
race.
thing,
It was
yeah,
like, right, we'll line up against him, and it was LS1 auto, and we were 12 HT manual, and so he had us off the line, but then we ended up rounding him up, and we were pushing, like he was right behind us, so we were pushing, and we slammed into the wall of the creek, and then so we did that, and then we got to the finish line, and we're like, he was nowhere to be seen. Like I hosed him. And then we hear like, oh no, he rolled his car. And he like barrel rolled his car like on his way to the finish line, like proper 2 barrel rolls. Like,
Yeah, wow.
but then I sort of like, all right, we'll check the car. And then I looked underneath, and like when we hit the wall, it had punched the radius arm through the bracket on the chassis. Like just punched it out of the bracket.
Yeah, wow.
And it was like, oh great. We didn't bring a welder or anything. So like, yeah, lucky enough, we seen another team who's Border Carpentry. And he's like, yeah, I'll get the pit crew to like get all the stuff ready. So we went to his pits.
Yeah, man.
And they had a container there with like the stuff in it. So we were like, they had a bit of plate there. So I cut up a bracket and I welded it all in, and you know, got the bracket all welded in. So just this dodgy as radius on bracket welded back in there.
Hey, if it works, it's not dodgy.
Yeah, well, I was a bit concerned, like, you know, because some of the, like I was welding thick to thin. So I wanted to like run the welder a bit hotter so it didn't just leave a big caterpillar on the bloody 5mm plate. But when we cranked the welder up, we kept tripping the generator. So I'm like, every 3 seconds, I was like doing like 3-second passes, and I was a bit concerned. And I left a little bit, and we went and found another welder, and like finished welding it off, but it was messy. And I was like, I hope this holds up. And it did, like, and it got punished. Like the bracket was all bent by the end of the week from the rocks.
Yeah,
and that. I was
right.
like, that's still in there.
Yeah,
It's all good.
weld's good. So have you got like, what's your qualification? Are you like a boilie or a mechanic, or have you got have you got a mechanical background?
No, I'm a carpenter by trade.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, so I did straight out of school. I made it halfway through year 12, and just the opportunity. I was looking for an apprenticeship, and I was interested in a building apprenticeship, and then it sort of just fell in my lap. So I left halfway through the year, and yeah, I sort of did me time. I got signed off a little bit early because I was doing all right, I suppose. So signed off early, but at that stage it was like I was peak into motorbikes, and so that was really all I was worried about. So like since I got signed off, I've done a week of building, and that's all I've done. So I got the trade certificate. Honestly, looking back, like I still kind of wish I did like a boilermaking apprenticeship. I do love welding and metal fab and that, but like if I had gone down that path, like would I have been sitting here? Like it's sort of, you just never know where I would have ended up. So I'm sort of happy where I've ended up, but I do wish that I had like a welding trade qualification. Would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a chippy, and that's
So you're just all self-taught then?
Yeah, I mean, like I hang around like a lot of smart people. Like there's a lot of smart people in our group. Like, yeah, mum and dad, my brother's like smart. A lot of my close mates are all very smart people. So yeah, it's sort of, you just learn just by being around these people. And then obviously, like I enjoy learning, especially something that I am passionate about. So it's not hard for me to spend hours and hours researching and like perfecting something, or like trying to work out a better method. So yeah, I guess you could say it's self-taught, but obviously a lot of smart people around me
Yeah,
which
of
help as well.
course.
So
Yeah, and I mean, I can see that from watching your YouTube channel, right? Like, you froth the learning part of it as well.
Yeah.
And I think now what you do really well is you explain things really well.
Yeah.
Because, like, I am not a technical person, don't claim to be. And, you know, I watch some of your stuff and I understand about 30% of it, but that's not because of you, that's because of me.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's really interesting to hear the way that you explain stuff. And that's why I was curious to know if you had any sort of formal
Well, I
training.
sort of, you know, like, in order to grow an online channel, YouTube or Instagram, whatever, you really have to be like fully about entertaining. And I've sort of just stuck to like the education, I guess. Like that's what I enjoy doing. Like I'm not a video editor guy. Like I'm clueless when it comes to that. I've just taught myself enough to get me by.
Same.
I wouldn't know like nothing about, like I still use GoPros up until recently. Then I use my phone for some of it. Like that's as technical as I get.
Works, mate.
It does work. So, you know, that's sort of, I'd prefer to make, and even as like the content that I make is content that I like watching.
Yes.
So I would prefer to be learning something rather than just being like entertained the whole time. I'd rather like people explain technical stuff and get more of an understanding. So that's the sort of content that I like to make. Which, like sometimes I even enjoy like building the car more than using it.
Yep.
Like I enjoy the build process, and like realistically, if I could spend 7 days a week in this shed, like I would happily do that.
Yeah.
Like I just
got to work out a way to get paid for it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I love coming at you. I love tinkering around, and especially when I've got like a project like this has been like an astronomical feat to even come this far. You know, it's sort of like my mind's ticking 24/7 of like how to do things better, and even like I just cut all the rear suspension mounts off and changed out the rear housing, so the whole rear end's getting done again, even though I've already done it, just because of a couple of things. Like I can do better, I can package it better, I can make the suspension work better. So I borrowed a plasma cutter, a hand one, and then I just axed it all off, and I was like, I'll start again.
Yeah, well, that's a point of no return, I suppose. That you're forcing your hand to develop it, right?
Yeah, it's sort of. Yeah, I just couldn't. Like it ended up working out, so I couldn't. I set the rear up for like 1.5 inch lift, and then I couldn't get the front that low with still retaining up travel. So I had to set the front up for what worked in the front, and then it's like, all right, well now I need to change the back again. So I cut it all off, but yeah, I just wouldn't have been happy leaving it the way it was. Like it would have worked, but it wouldn't have been like ideal.
Yeah.
So
you had come pretty far with it. I saw there was, it looked like it was getting close to completion.
It was rolling, and like the suspension was under it. Now it's stuck on the hoist again.
So we'll talk more about the car in a minute, but I'm curious what started the YouTube stuff. Like what made you want to do that?
Like through like I started like a motorbike, and then I did a lot of BMX riding and that. And I just always like taking videos.
Yeah.
Not for any other reason other than it was just enjoyable to look back on. And then, like, you know, I finished building my race car in 2017, and I always just thought like, our whole group of friends do like so much cool stuff. Like none of my friends do social media.
Yeah.
But like the amount of cool stuff that goes on that's just not on the internet. And it just sort of thought like, how cool would it be if I just like put some of it up?
Yep.
And that's just how, like, COVID come in, and it was like, whatever. Like, people aren't doing much. I was like, I'll just film stuff and put it on YouTube. Like,
that's the best reason to do it, man.
There was no other reason. Like, there was no, the end goal wasn't to like, I want to make heaps of money and get free stuff. That's not the motivation behind it. Like, you know, and I think if that is someone's motivation, you can see right through it pretty quickly.
100%.
It's more or less, it was just fun. And I enjoyed, like at the start, like these days it's sort of been a bit hard because I do take on work in the shed as well. So it's hard to juggle work and then homework and then the YouTube channel and all that.
Yeah.
So
and then actual work.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, uploads the last 12 months have been few and far between. But right at the start, I was putting out videos weekly. And fair enough, they weren't great quality, but
still a heap of work.
Still, it was heaps of work. Like, but it would just kept me motivated to just keep doing stuff. And like, I hadn't done that much driving ever, because we were like, what do I do this weekend? You know, I've either got to fix the car, change the car, or go for a drive.
Yeah.
One of the three.
Yeah.
So it was just like every weekend for probably, I think 2 or 3 years, I reckon I'd done weekly uploads. And there was just something going on every weekend. And it just sort of, I don't know, just kept you doing stuff.
Yeah, that's real
Kept
cool.
everyone busy. So that's where it started. And then it sort of, yeah, as I got busier and busier, it went to like every second week. And now it's just like when I've got time.
Yeah.
So I was sort of hoping to change that somehow. I don't know how, but I want to go back to like every 2 weeks or something, or at least every month, at least get some sort of schedule back. But the other thing, like, it's just so, like, it takes so long to do custom stuff. Like, you couldn't put a video out every week and have quality content. Like, it'd just be more or less about quantity, and people like get bored of that pretty quickly.
Yeah, what's
like,
the point?
There's no substance to it. Like, you're just filming random stuff. You do like one little job and you got to drag it out for 20 minutes for a video.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what I want to do either. So, yeah, it's sort of hard these days, but I'm sort of hoping that, you know, the diffs have probably been the biggest hurdle, I suppose. But once the diffs are fully done and rolling, the rest is like heap of fab work and that, so I can sort of get stuck right into that.
Yeah, nice.
There's a lot of like custom machining work and that with the diffs that, you know, it's got to be designed and then changed or perfected and then machined, tested. So like it's just a huge process with like heaps of parties involved.
So how does that work with this like fully custom stuff? Like obviously you can take inspiration and you can learn from other people and go, hey, is this going to work?
Yeah.
Theoretically, but like a lot of it I'm assuming you don't really know until it's in the car, right?
Yeah, like obviously being involved in racing, like you break a lot of stuff. And I would actually, I'd like to say I haven't broken really that much considering, but I still have broken stuff. So, you know, it's more or less like trying to find an upgrade that's possible without, you know, like obviously you've got a couple things you want to stick by. So like I don't want to spend $40,000 on diffs. You know, that's number one.
Fair enough.
I don't just want to run standard stuff because it's proven to be not quite up to what I want to do with it. So then it's like you just start snowballing ideas, like researching, and then that's what I've come up with, which is like that front end is it's a Nissan Patrol Center, but it's got Dana 60 knuckles with like it'll end up with 35 spline axles.
Yeah.
So big dog stuff. The reason I kept the diff center a Nissan is because I've never actually broken a Nissan center.
It's a good reason.
Yeah, and cost. So the idea is like, I want to try and sell them as well. Like I think there's a market in the winch challenge scene. And the idea is like, here's a diff you can roll under your car. You can just put your diff center in it. You have to easy mod to the locker to change it to 35 spline. And then you can roll it under like your front tail shaft works, your radius arms work.
Perfect.
You know, obviously custom steering arms and that, but that was sort of the goal with that. And then, yeah, I've come up with a solution in the rear, but I haven't told anyone about that yet. So
that's all right.
That'll
Keep that
be
one
cool.
under, keep that one under your hat.
That'll be under the hat. Hopefully in the next month, I reckon. Hopefully have something
Nice.
out.
So what is the plan with this car? I mean, it's very cool, but it's extreme. Is it a race car? Is it a social car?
It's funny, like all that bar work on the roof and the rear hoop, that's all made out of cage tube.
Yeah.
And I done it out of cage tube because, not because I want to race it, but the weekend warrior class only needing a 4-point cage.
Yep.
So that hoop, and then when the rear stays go on, will comply with that class.
Yeah, right.
Not that I want to race that class, or not.
Just
I mean, I'd happily
smoke
race
everyone.
that class. But they did have a rule for a while where you couldn't, like, if you're too experienced or you won events before, you weren't
Yeah,
allowed
because
to
there's no
race
point
that.
just going there and flogging everyone.
For sure.
Right?
But like, I would happily race that class, but that's not what the idea of the car is. It was more or less, I wanted that stuff for a bit more strength. It's like cage tube is obviously stronger than NB tube. So that's why I went that way. So everyone thinks it's a race car because it's done out of roll cage tube, and people are like, oh, when's your race car going to be done? It's like, oh no, it's just a tourer. Like,
Yeah. So where does the fridge go?
oh well, that's been like on my mind for the last few months. So the tray is built in my head.
Yep.
I just need to build it, but I need to get the rear diff done and the suspension done before I can start the tray.
Yep.
But yeah, I've wrote a list. I'm a big list guy, so I've got 100 lists everywhere. I've wrote a list of stuff that I'd take camping, and it's like, then I've brainstormed where I can fit that on the car. And I don't want I want it to be efficient as well. Like I don't want to just be tying stuff on top of stuff and then it's like, I need the toolbox, which is under everything. Got to untie everything. Like, everything's got to be packed as efficient as possible. Now, there's going to be like some trade-offs to that. Like, it's obviously not going to be perfect. There is going to be downsides to it, but that's the goal, is to make it as efficient as possible, and still carry like, I need to carry like 2 swags, 2 chairs, 2 stretchers, a cooker, a fridge, a little camp box for your plates and all that sort of stuff, and then like a spares box, and tools, and like I'm going to put a water tank under the tray.
It adds up quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're going to fit all this. So, and I want to try and fit it all in front of the rear diff, or like center line of rear diff and forward. Which is why I used a ute cab, because the extra cab takes up, like, I know it's only like 200 or 300 mil.
Yeah, but it makes a big difference.
Makes a huge difference to the tray space. So yeah, try and keep the weight, or just not really the weight, like the spare wheel will go on the back. But if you've ever had a fridge, and I haven't, but like Sherry is a good example for this, and he'll laugh, because he has his fridge on the back of his tray. And obviously the further you are from the center line of the chassis in that direction, the more exaggerated the movements of the car are. So like, if your fridge is way on the back, when you hit a washout, it moves a lot compared to the center of where the pivot point of the chassis is. So like, multiple times we've done trips, and you get a bit hot-headed and go a bit fast. And then you get to the end and like, everything in the fridge is upside down, smashed. Like, big mess in the fridge. And it's all right, well, I want my fridge like at the back wall, pretty much, like right at the center line of.
It's funny you say that. I've never really put that much thought into it, but in my 80, the fridge is all the way at the back, and in the ute, it sits like on the headboard pretty much. And yeah, you're right. Like, the contents of my fridge in the 80 are often upside down, because I get a bit excited. So you are going to travel in this car, camp out of it?
Yeah, I want to. Like, it's not going to be as good as the wagon, but I want to do an East Coast trip, and like, a lot of the East Coast stuff's rocky, like pretty gnarly terrain by the looks of it, and I like my wagon too much, and I don't want to smash it up. So the whole idea of the ute is like, it will take the place of that car in all like the harder driving, and then the wagon will just get converted back to something more tourer friendly. Like, it's got a 2-motor winch on it. It won't need to be on there. I'll go back to a single motor winch. Just take some things out of it that don't need to be in there. Because like, I'd like to take my own car through the Simpson Desert.
100%.
And like, do all that sort of stuff. But carting like all this stuff up there that's unnecessary. Like, I don't need a 2-motor winch in the Simpson Desert.
No.
So like,
hopefully you don't need any winch in the Simpson Desert.
Exactly. So having like 65 kilos of winch on the front plus the bull bar is like, there's a few examples of that around the car that I'd change, just to make it a bit more, tourer friendly, shave a bit of weight off it, and then this car will just take the place of like doing all the harder stuff. So
what motor are you putting in this one?
Can't tell you.
Oh, it's a secret.
Secret.
Yeah, right.
I reckon, a message every couple of days for the last like 12 months. Like, what motor you put in it? So no one knows it. Could be an LS, like M57. LM 606 maybe.
Diesel. You always struck me as a petrol guy.
I'm a petrol guy, but I do want a diesel.
Yeah.
Whether it goes in that or not.
Yeah, right. Remains to be seen. So, petrol versus diesel. Is there a particular reason that you've always had TB42s in your cars? Is it like a personal preference thing? Is it just...
like, it's not. Like, when I was 18, that's what I ended up with, and I didn't really know much different at the time, but like, my first car was a 94, so it was EFI. That turned out to be like a bit of a blessing, because like, carbies are junk. So the EFI, I ended up turboing it right near the end of that car's life. But at the time when I was 18, I didn't know what that was. Like, I was basically clueless at that stage. Like, I didn't know what anything was, didn't know how to change brake pads, nothing. So I didn't even really pay much attention to the difference between petrol and diesel, and that's just what I ended up with. So like, obviously TDs are quite expensive, and even back then they were quite a bit more expensive than the petrol, so it's probably obviously cheaper. And then as time has progressed, I've just enjoyed the petrol. Like, I do, like, I've got nothing against a TD. I think they're good, they have their place, and I would have one, but these days they're just like,
well, I just saw the price of the crate motors went up, and I was like, oh, wow, okay, that makes the FTE look cheap then.
Oh, definitely, I don't think anyone are buying TDs anymore, like, at that price. Which is no fault of, you know, the import of it. Like,
It just is what
it
it
just
is.
is what it is. Like obviously
Yeah.
Nissan's done something, and they want whether they want to recoup their money somehow because whatever might have changed in the factory. Like to go up that price is just
it's
like
wild,
ridiculous. Like you wouldn't even like at the price they were was still on the edge of like you'd have to be a real TD enthusiast to spend like 19 grand on a crate motor. So like I think there's better options out there.
Yeah.
But I've got like ideally I would like a Series 4 GU with a TD.
Oh, same.
Yeah, like-
I nearly bought one when I bought my 80. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm still kicking myself. It was a Victorian car, and I still think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like mint silver Series 4 with the
Yeah.
TD, and I'm like, oh,
I think they're
that
like
would've been a nice
pretty
car.
much the perfect car
100%.
as full drive. Like I think they tick all the boxes, like just straight out the box. You don't need to do anything to it.
Yeah.
Like a bit of suspension, some tyres, a front locker, and a winch on the front.
Done.
And it's done. You know, like there's no like you can abuse that car. Fair enough, the TD has its limits and you can find them pretty quickly. But if you're just happy to cruise along, not push the limits of the car of the motor, I think that like they last forever.
It's only when you turn them right up that they start giving
But
you
big
grief.
pump,
Like,
big boost, like they just don't like it. So
Yeah.
I think if you're just happy to put along like a grey Nomad.
yeah, I think there's still going to be a Series 4 in my life at some point. It's one of
Yeah.
those cars that I just look at and go, yeah, I'd really need one of
Yeah,
them.
it's on my list, Series 4 GU, whether a TD one or not.
Yeah.
Certainly a diesel.
Did they come out with a 48 as well?
Yeah, Series 4 did, yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be all right.
Yeah, it would be. Definitely. I think 48s are like probably the best motor Nissan made.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Do you know, this is a complete side note, but do you know if a VK56 would fit in a GQ or not?
Actually,
It's VK56, isn't it? Or
yeah,
VQ?
VK. Yeah, VK, I'm pretty
The one out of the 62?
Yeah, 62, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm pretty, because I don't know if someone's actually done one. There might be someone out there that's done that.
Yeah.
I reckon I might have seen something, but I mean, you could probably, people shoehorn Duramaxes into them, so.
Yeah, you can make it fit.
Yeah, I'm sure you could, with a grinder and a weld, you can make it in the fit.
So you said that the car was meant to be, or you wanted it to be done 12 months ago.
Yeah.
I understand life gets in the way and
Yeah.
everything else, but what's your time frame on it? Have you set yourself a deadline?
It's sort of hard because, like, setting a time frame is good because it gives you something to work towards. Like, if you just like, oh, I'll get it done whenever, you tend to just like float with that and you don't
It's a
get
10-year
motivated.
build.
Yeah, exactly right. So like that's why I sort of in my head it was supposed to be done. Yeah, Christmas last year. That was the goal, but I didn't really didn't account for how long the front diff would take to work out. That was like a massive factor, and without the front diff in it, I just couldn't do anything else. And then obviously this rear end still, like the rear diff's still not done, and that's the next deciding factor. So without the diffs under it, I can't do anything else. Can't put the motor in a gearbox. I can't, build any bar work. I can't progress any further, other than what I've done. So yeah, it sort of was like just a huge hold up, which is no fault of like anyone's. It's just the process of building custom stuff.
Just takes time.
It just takes time. That's all it is. So, yeah, ideally, like, I don't know, like we do a trip. Queen's birthday in Victoria is in June. We do a boys trip every year, and as part of like boys trip, we do like the harder stuff, and it's winter, so things are wet. So, like getting it ready for a boys trip would be good. Like maybe boys trip next year. So, but that's still like creeping up to, it's probably like 9 months away. So I'm sort of struggling to see that is going to happen. But
Well, when you look at it now, it's hard to comprehend. But I
Yeah.
think, from what I've seen of people building things like this, it's like you just need a couple of small wins, and then
Yeah.
that'll give you the motivation to sort of.
well, I
push a
think
bit
like
harder.
the fab stuff, like the bar work and all that, which I can do here, is like that happens pretty quickly. It still takes like a lot of hours in it, but you can get it done pretty quickly. It's more like the motor and gearbox is probably going to be the biggest hold up to not like I've got the motor and gearbox, but to put it in. Yeah, it is hiding in here somewhere.
Yeah, it's in here somewhere.
Like to fit it, by the time you fit it and then like wire it up and get it like running in the car, it's a lot of money. So I reckon that's probably going to be the biggest hold up with the car is just funding the motor and gearbox in it. But the rest of it should happen once the diffs are done. I think the rest of it should happen pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And by quickly, like months, obviously, but
Yeah, of course.
still, like I think it'll tick along nicely from there. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Yeah, I'll sort of aim for Queen's birthday next year. But I mean, if it's rolling with the motor in it, but if it's not wired up, but if it's like rolling with the motor in it, with bar work done by June next year, I'll be pretty wrapped.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've obviously played around with cars for a long time now. Is it safe to say this is the biggest job that you've undertaken?
Yeah, like when I done the race car, that was like I get suckered into like while I'm here I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm sure everyone does, but like I just get bitten by that bug extra hard. So like when I built my race car, I bought it in 2016. Like I wasn't making much money at all, and I bought it, already had a roll cage in it, and it was like a style side chop, like some of the worst workmanship you've ever seen. And I bought it just to like, it come with a TB EFI and a manual, and I was like, I'll just slap this car together and race. No, like all of a sudden the cab's off. Like we're bare chassis, and it's like, while I'm here I'll put coilovers in it because my other mate was building one of his cars at the time, and he put coilovers in that. But you know, like I had to ring him and ask him how to pull the springs off the coilovers. Like I bought them, like that's how just clueless I was. But the process of building a car teaches you like more than reading and talking to people ever will. Like you just need to build a car, and then you just learn like heaps from it. So like I did so much wrong with that car, and you know, it's all a big learning curve though. So this is like tenfold on that, because that car still just had like standard GU diffs. I had GQ rear diff actually, you know, standard control arms, like just heavy duty control arms, like hybrid radius arms, like just a GU steering box with, you know, upgraded arms and that. So there was no like, the only custom work really was the bar work and the coilovers. And obviously the cage and that, there was a bit of cab, like it was chopped and I shortened the front and all that. But there was no like custom suspension arms or custom drive line or anything like that. So this is really undertaken. And like it had a 4.2, like a TB. So the motor bolted in, it was a manual, it all bolted in. So there was no real engine conversion to do other than like it had a standalone ECU. But like, yeah, so no engine conversion, no, you know, yeah, no custom suspension parts or other than the coilovers. So it was a pretty like basic car in the scheme of things. But at that time it was like exactly what I needed to do. Like it was a huge learning curve. Like I learnt heaps from it. So, and you know, I've taken a lot from that car. So I ended up selling it because, you know, like it had raced, so it was a race car. You know, things get worn out, but I wrote a list of stuff that I'd like to change, and it just come back to like, it's easier to start again.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Like by the time you separate the cab and chassis, cut all the suspension off, start again, it's like, well, I may as well just start from a new chassis.
Yep.
And then, you know, there was heaps of stuff I wanted to change with the roll cage. I wasn't fully ever happy with it or whatever. So it's like, well, by the time you like do a new chassis, you may as well just do a new cab. And then these days there's a mob in Melbourne, and I think like Kinsella was talking about it. They do cage kits. So it's like CNC bent and notched roll cage comes in a box, and you just piece it together like a puzzle. So it's like, well, I could just do a new cab, buy one of these cage kits, you know, and do a new chassis. And like, that's just way easier than cutting all the old stuff off the old car.
And it almost seems like a bit of a waste to cut up
For sure,
a functional race car to then
For sure.
change everything, right?
Yeah. So I pulled the motor out of it and the ECU on that, and like pulled the winch out of it. And I think that was it. I pulled the wheels off it, and I just sold it as a roller, like as is pretty much, like just kept all the winch batteries in it, all the wiring and all that. So I just thought, you know, to be a good car for someone, like the idea was I'll put up for sale, someone can probably buy it, they can buy a TB carby for $100,
Yeah.
put a manual back in it, and I left the diffs and the lockers and all that in it. You know, if you got a high mount winch off Marketplace or you had one, you just bolted in, the winch wiring's already there.
Yeah.
So like, for what I sold it for, you invest another like $5,000 into it and you could be racing. That's how I sold it.
So is the plan that car will make a comeback in the race scene?
Well, it was at Cliffhanger actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to go over there, but I think it didn't race any stages. I had to, because there's like a test track at Cliffy where before the event starts, you have like a test track. And I think something happened on the test track. I don't actually know. But yeah, it was parked up all week,
Yeah,
which was unfortunate. It was good to see it back. Had a dirty Alice in it. Yeah, gone to the dark side.
Not $100 TB 42 carby.
No, but it was good to see it back. Like, I was excited to see it race because I would have never taken that car to Cliffy myself. So to see it up there was like, it'd be awesome to see it racing again. But a bit unfortunate for them. Hopefully they sort it out or whatever and come back bigger and better. But yeah, the idea is, I am still hoping to build another car, but like, it's a lot of money to invest.
A race car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money to invest. And because it's only like grassroots sport really, like it's not like you're racing the Fink or something or like Bathurst, it's not. So like,
It's not like you're going to get rich off the prize money.
For sure, yeah, exactly right. So like, you invest like $150,000 into a race car and like, you come first and you win a couple $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, so you really got to like love it, which I do, but a lot of people come to me and just said, build another build an easy car. And it's like, no, if I build another race car, like I want to do a proper race car, like big suspension, like big diffs, big power. So yeah, that's like obviously a lot of money and time.
Then big bill.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know, maybe in a few years, like obviously that's still in that position. So, that's the next, probably need to get that one done. And then...
And you got a street car to build as well.
You got a street car to build, which is like, yeah, at the time, like, because I already had one of them.
Yeah.
And then I had my last freestyle crash and I couldn't work for ages. So I ended up having to sell that car. And I still miss it. It was a fun car, but it was more or less like a GQ junker, but in a Skyline form. Like I used to take it to the track and drift at the track and all that. And it was just flogged out.
Yeah.
So I ended up selling it and helped me stay afloat for a little bit. And then I obviously started working again. So I wanted to buy another one and it's the same color. But it's a non-turbo auto, but I just wanted it because it's exactly the same color and same car, Series 1. So when I bought it, I actually bought a turbo motor and a manual conversion for it. And then I stripped the motor down because I was like, I'll build the motor. And that was like in 2019. And there's a local engine shop just over the railway tracks here, like awesome blokes there. And I dropped it off in like 2019. And we were just ticking along with it. So no rush, it's all good. Like, but it's been in there ever since. Like, and that's no fault of theirs. It's probably fault of mine because I haven't been back in there to see where it's at or if they've done anything. But it's like I've been spending so much money on other stuff that it's like, I probably need to go in there and sort that out.
Yeah, it's hard to juggle when
it's probably just sitting on their shelf in the way. Like I need to go
it's like what we we're talking about at the start, right? Like street cars are expensive, four-wheel drives are expensive. You do both at the same time. It's like there is a limit to the funding.
If you're not earning $500,000 a year, it's just not going to happen overnight.
My dreams and aspirations often far outweigh my financial capability.
Yeah, I think we all fall into that trap at one point.
Free to dream, mate.
Yeah, dreams are free, definitely.
Sweet. Well, mate, it's been really good to catch up with you. If anyone doesn't already know about you, what's the best place to find you?
Instagram and YouTube are the two main ones that I use. So just Daniel Kistler on both.
Yep.
And then I use Facebook, but I try and just steer everyone to Instagram.
Yeah, perfect.
I do have a TikTok, but I don't really use it that much. But anyway, you can find me on TikTok as well, same Daniel Kistler. I think there is actually a fake account. It's blocked me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's something...
You've got an imposter.
Yeah, I've got an imposter, isn't it? When you made it or something?
Yeah,
imposter,
100%.
And so my TikTok's Daniel Kistler 12, and I think the imposter account's Daniel Kistler 11. And they block me, so I can't report or anything.
So if Daniel Kistler asks you for your credit card details on TikTok, it's not this one, it's the fake one.
It might be.
Oh, it could be this one. If you want to accelerate the Skyline build. Awesome, mate. Well, I'll drop a couple of links in the description. But thanks for your time, man. And thanks for having me here. It's been good.
Awesome, thank you.
Cheers, man. And we will see all of you next time on the Outer Side.